day 29 of Better Health and Better Wellness of our 30 Days and 30 Ways. This is Rashonda Thornton.
And Natalie Jensitz.
And today, well, actually yesterday, real quick recap. Natalie, what did we talk about yesterday? Real quick.
Rashonda, the days are blurring together. It's reality, right? Yesterday we talked about encouraging hope in the hopeless, which kind of led to today's topic a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there that are definitely, if they had a sense of hopelessness, they're definitely feeling it more now. So the goal is to really figure out ways that we can help them in the best ways that we can. But today, as we're moving forward, our topic today is called countering negativities from others. And the reason why we felt this would be a good topic because what's going on right now, you're probably hearing it, seeing it more often, complaints. You're seeing it more frequently. It's getting more louder. It's all around us, whether it's television, social media, our family and friends. And it is beginning to get a little suffocating. And a lot of times with that happening, some of that can spill over to how we see things and turn our energy more negative. So the goal is with this particular segment that we're talking about is we want to help you to figure out how can you take some of your own space back without actually physically distancing yourself from people. So not shutting them out, but actually find areas where you can just have your own thought process and not let some of the negative energy spill over into your everyday thoughts.
Yes. And this is super important, Rashonda. I'm glad you thought of this topic because I have been on both sides of it and have, was kind of raised in an environment that was a little more negative, not in a bad way that I realized at the time. It was just, more pessimistic and just seeing more challenge in life than the opportunity, I guess, so to speak. So it's, I've been on both sides and I can see so much now that I've come a ways out of that and I'm still a work in progress, but it makes such a huge difference in how much you're enjoying life, how much progress you make in life. And I've seen, it flip in my household where now I'm more positive than some of them at times. And I'm like, oh no, I rubbed off. What did I do? And it can be contagious. It's like that whole nature versus nurture. So, if you're raising kids in a household of it, it's going to trickle through the pipeline and it's contagious and can have a snowball effect and just completely take over your life without even you realizing it. So it's definitely important. And that's what we're here to talk about. And you have some really good tips to share, I think, probably, right?
Yeah, I do. Just real quick, when it comes to, you can't really get away from your family, especially if they're in your own household. So the space limitation or even finding ways to tactfully handle that can be complicated. But what I would say is that when you have someone in your family member that is immediately kind of being pessimistic or looking at it negative, the last thing you want to do is ask leading questions or ask, oh, why do you feel that way? Or what's causing you to think that way? Because that only fuels them probably to talk more. So actually, sometimes instead of just allow them to keep talking, how can you counter that with perhaps giving your perspective that may be a little bit more positive, or just, politely say, you know what, let's take a rain check and probably talk about this later on this evening. That way to kind of settle the fire a little bit and kind of probably eliminate that opportunity to create that negative energy. Also, just even if they come with something negative, as I said earlier, see how you can spin it. See how you can, or just change the subject completely. Just find a savvy way to change the subject so that, again, that this negative energy that doesn't keep staying in the air. And for social media, right now, we're all in this together and you're probably seeing feeds. I'm seeing a lot of positive feeds, but I've seen some negative feeds. I've seen some feeds and I'm like, oh my God, why are we putting this on there? And what I do, I just scroll right past it. I don't like it. I don't engage with it because, again, it's the same thing. You're feeding into that negative energy, and you're allowing these people to still stay on the platform of negative talk. And the thing about it is that it's not necessary. It's not a good thing, but what happens is again, it infuses into your thought process, and you find yourself looking at every little thing and find a way to look at it negative, which is what we don't want right now. We want everything, be realistic with life. Yes, we know the struggle, but we can still find happiness and be positive through the struggle. So those be my tips.
Yeah, and I like that because you want to acknowledge the reality, but just keep trying to press forward with the opportunities instead of dwelling on the negative aspect of it. So there's a fine line, but it's there to be walked. And and I like you use the word choose a lot. We have the choices, and you can also say, I'm choosing not to look at it that way if you need to change the topic, and I'm going to choose to look at it this way instead. And luckily my core family is pretty positive, but when, like Rashawn is saying, you don't want to shut out your other people in your life that are negative necessarily, but I've had instances, which I'm going to share a couple of examples with you guys, to where they're not necessarily being negative, but there's negative energy from my interactions with that person. And one person, I've decided I just need to kind of mentally distance myself when I'm talking with that person and say, is that his feelings, or is that the truth? Because I don't have to follow him down that rabbit hole about the feelings. I can acknowledge his and then separate myself and be like, but I know the truth, and that doesn't have to take me down the sad, negative place that seems to be going. So that's helped me a great deal to just separate myself from that. And then the second example is somebody that, I was trying to keep a long distance friendship going and didn't feel like it was, being reciprocated. So I'd get frustrated and just get really disappointed, I guess. And then finally I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm just not going to try. Like, if it happens, it happens. If we reunite down the road a bit when life is less crazy, then great. I would love that. But if I'm not going to just continue to put myself up against the wall and then feel bad about it, that's not healthy. And there were hard decisions to make, but I feel, better from it for now. So
Yeah. So what that says is that what it looks like when people do have negative thoughts, or they spilling it out, they have no clue how they're projecting, how they're making the people around them feel. So sometimes it's not verbal, it's their actions too. So if you're feeling the actions of someone, whether you're not treated in a mutual respect, or they're overlooking, or
so it's not them, it's me.
Well, you know how they have a saying, misery loves company. So, whether it's, your thoughts on how you see it, or hearing someone else see it, the whole goal with this whole topic is understanding that there's going to be negative energy that's around you. So how can you just create some space, that allows you to breathe, collect yourself, and that's fine. It is what it is. But during this time, keep finding ways to keep positive energy around you, and try to counter that negative energy, because negative energy don't take us anywhere but down a hole we don't want to really be in. So hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you tomorrow for our last day of our 30 days, 30 ways wellness. So it's been a good one. We hope that you guys appreciate it. Hope you guys has helped you in some way. And I will see you tomorrow on our last segment.
We'll talk to you tomorrow, guys. Bye.